Welcome to the Heart of the Matter. My name is Omotayo, and I am here with
Diipo, Ayo-Adeusi.
Adeolu Adefarasin.
All right, so basically what I wanted us to talk about was like process, structure, and how far we've kind of come just in our individual processes. So, since you moved back, how has the creative and career journey been for you?
Creative and career journey has been interesting. Moved back, came back, I was like, who do Nigerians know? I'm going to take the world by storm, baby.
Understand?
Like, we're just going to come here, show them that, I'm sorry, we trained for this.
Exactly. What do you know?
Okay. Well, life will slap you real quick. Came back, was like, okay, we're going to take the world. I wasn't even planning to stay. I was just like, I just come here, drop a couple of dimes and move back to the States, come and collect some dollars. And so very quickly, stuff happened. I thought, okay, by the time this thing has started rolling like this, don't worry. I literally remember this feeling because I was like, by the time I did the Eve, so the first lead role, I was like, from here, bruh, they ain't ever going, as in, every time they say my name,
they just be like,
since then, okay, that was been interesting. What's happened since then, acting-wise? Okay, so I did King of Boys. Now I did another one, which is a lead role, but hasn't been seen, and
what's that?
I'm kind of glad it hasn't been seen, so let's not talk
yet?
too much, as in.
Really? That means when it comes out, you have to be prepared.
When it comes out, when I look the same, people don't recognize me now. I've left. So,
but then there was Coming From Insanity.
There was
Coming From Insanity, but Coming From Insanity shot around the same time as the Eve. It just came out 2 years later. So I was like, people were seeing stuff thinking, this guy's still rocking and rolling in the industry. I'm like, nah, bro, it's been a while.
That's because the projects come out after, so it makes it look like you're still
very active. Look like there's so much going on.
Which is good long term.
I ran into, so obviously recently I got ordained as a pastor, and that through a real web in the a wrench in the. So I ran into the director of the Eve, and he was like, I heard you've retired.
Not even, what?
I was like, do you retire at such time? Like, do you have to do a certain amount of stuff for you to be able to retire from acting? I don't understand. So he was like, I heard you've retired. I was like, yeah, because they said you can be a pastor, so you can't really. And I was like, but.
I know that you're still an actor. You didn't just wake up one day and lose your ability to act. However, how does that affect the choices that you're going to make with films in the future?
That's so true.
No, but for me, I feel like even then, I was making decisions that I felt were aligned me with the Holy Spirit anyway. So I felt like I wasn't doing things that I would come back later and say I was ashamed that I did or I regret doing. I don't feel that way. Yeah. The area of change is not necessarily, I think, related to my being ordained. I think it's actually more about just personal space somewhere you're on your journey in different things. So relationships, all that kind of things. I'm like, there's an aspect of not wanting to, like, also that comes to relationship with God, let's put it that way.
Right.
So,
because when you said relationship the first time,
so
I wasn't thinking about the Holy Spirit.
No, so like that's related. So like also, so I didn't date. So like for me, it was this.
I'll come to you.
In relationship with God, I've gone to this place where I think you start off in a place no matter what, and everybody comes to God for His hand. So you're looking at what God can do for you. And as you start to get to the face of God, and you start to have more understanding of what God wants and God's relationship and God's heart for you, we will grow and mature from, okay, I'm doing things and I believe I'm in alignment, but I justify certain things by the world's measures when, if you look at God's measures, they don't align with that. So I was comfortable doing those roles and kissing here and there because, I felt like, that's not deep.
Right.
But if I've now reached a place in my relationship with God telling me that you've got to abstain from that too, even in your own relationship, I can't then go and do a film and say I'm okay to do that.
Part of the reason why I wanted to have this particular chat is multi-layered. I just want to put that in here in the middle so that we don't just think it's just gist. It's because creatives in Nigeria suffer, but we survive. And I want it to kind of be clear how that works, what that looks like, and how you can actually still keep your values even in the whole stress. Because it's very informative what you were saying, because you were like, you did roles that you thought were still in line with the Holy Spirit. But at the same time, you have matured in that relationship with Holy Spirit. So it's probably like
the
Holy
line
Spirit.
is moving.
Yeah, so it's probably like Holy Spirit was like, I mean, all things are expedience. Well, these are not necessarily, and you just be like, yeah, fine, I'm going to do it anyway. But then now you'd be like, do you know what? I'm trying to deepen this relationship and be a bit realer with this whole thing. So that's really interesting, because I know that obviously these are questions that people ask, like, oh, can you be an actor and be doing this?
I
Can
think
you be an actor?
even beyond that, because it's funny, because I have conversations with people who are in relationships. I'm like, can you actually be in a relationship and not kiss? Like, is that possible? Like, that seems like, wow, that just seems stupid.
Yeah.
And so learning that is also like its own different experience. And it's also, for me, it was a big thing. I think one of the reasons I wanted to really hold on to this scope of the kind of acting I did was that belief of, okay, I'm meant to be a light in the marketplace.
Right.
But if you're going to do that and you want to show people that you can still love God and be cool, then
Right.
you've got to also still be doing the things that people think are cool.
Right.
And so like God showing me that there's an aspect to that, but there's the truth of it is being cool is not being cool according to the world's measures.
Right.
It's redefining what cool is and still being aligned with God and saying that I am a chill person, I'll still be a chill person,
Right.
but I have these measures and these are things that I align with that aren't going to change, but it doesn't make me less relatable.
Right.
So I think that that's a big thing, that how do you maintain that? So that's one of the things that's been like a draw for, okay, you got to keep acting, because if you're not doing this, you're not taking up this role, then people are going to completely just go, oh, he was an actor, he was cool, but now it's just a cast man, it's just
Became Bassam,
that.
became boring.
Okay, so Diipo,
Yeah.
your story is a bit in a different direction, because you came back wanting to act, but the acting didn't happen for
Yes, a while.
And then when it happened, that was, you were now like, oh, okay, that's it, bye.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us about your journey?
So I, for all intents and purposes, I moved back wanting to act, because that was the training and that was what I was actively doing as well in the US.
Right.
Before I came back. So for me, it was like, I mean, how hard can transition be? Like, in fact, if you want a resume, have a resume from the, I mean, I was signed to an agency. Like, how hard can it be in this country?
Right.
Please, they don't even know what they're doing.
Right.
And I came back and realized the politics and how different the industry was and how I needed to know people. And I'm the first actor anything in like 50 generations back. So it was like, I don't know anybody.
Right.
So found myself working in 9 to 5 in the, let's say, creative industry, sort of. But the one thing that taught me was that I cannot do it. I can do a 9 to 5, but I won't do a 9 to 5.
Right.
Ugh, it was the most frustrating period of my life. Getting fired from that job, and I like to say that I got fired. I didn't like, because I can say I left the job. I got fired.
After a while, you know, it just wasn't working.
Getting fired was like the sort of like fire underneath my bum, because it just kind of, I remember in the months after, like sending pitches to like different networks. Like I did proper legwork, but it also helped me understand that I had a lot more capabilities than just acting, and I started to discover those. So presenting, which is what I do now, styling as well, which is what I've done a lot as well. And now I'm producing. So it's like I started to kind of find myself. But I think the biggest difference in the arc of where I was before and where I am now would probably be that I'm a lot more aware, like Adeolu was saying, about God in the middle of everything. Because I think more than anything, just my relationship with Holy Spirit started to really explain to me that at any time I can be anything. And it doesn't have to tie in with anything that I have done before. It's about what he wants me to do, and the fact that as long as he wants me to do it, there is somehow, somewhere, resources, capability, and knowledge to do those things. And there is a map, and I have all of that, you know, accessible to me, and that I can actually do. Because, for example, producing, never in my radar, ever. Maybe presenting, okay, I have a presence of self. Styling, okay, I always loved fashion from when I was young, so it was always something I expressed even without like doing it for a client or whatever. But producing was just like so far off. But when God at some point said, I want you to do this project.
Yeah.
And I was the one with the vision for the project. I understood that there was no way, like, I just had to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like automatically, by default, I had to produce it.
Yeah.
And I actually had to go through the process of what it was to produce. I'm not going to say like I'm the best producer now. Oh my God, give me a movie project, I'll kill it. But I've now gotten into it and I have a lot of understanding about it, and I'm still learning because I'm going to keep producing other stuff because he already has to give me more projects to do. Right. But with the whole acting thing, it was so interesting. And I think if anything, let me make this point to our viewers at home. The fact that you, or how do they, there's a very interesting way that people, I've heard it said before, the talent that you have does not exactly equate to the career that you will have. But over time, again, this is what the relationship with the Holy Spirit is, you know, he said, I want you to go into empowering people and teaching people. And it was very clear that I wasn't an actor, or I'm not, at least for all intents and purposes in this season, I'm not supposed to be an actor. And this was when it seemed like things were just kind of taking off and people were starting to validate the talent and validate the skills and saying, oh, maybe he has something. Right. And all of a sudden God is like, shut that up. You know. And so now we're looking more toward, you know, acting and workshops and, God, I'm saying all these things before you said. Okay.
It's time, because it's time.
But yeah, so we're working on workshops and there's an eventual...
We'll take it, we'll break it down. Again, I just want to kind of be pulling us back into where we're... we're not just gisting because we're three friends trying to gist. And I want us to talk about what it looks like living off this. So it's not your talents that's going to give you money. So what's going to give you money then? Or career, like, what's that part? Because money is a huge, like, even the Bible, God is like, choose, please.
Yeah, it's a big
and
deal.
Most people in now times, we actually rationalize God, not realizing that what we're doing is we're choosing mammon. Like God says, you cannot love God and mammon, and we're like, but somebody has to eat. Where's that? When God says you can love God and mammon, He did not say you can love God, but you can also be friends with mammon. There was no, and it seems very extreme, but I feel like there's nothing like the creative industry to force you to choose.
Oh my Lord.
To force you to just choose where do your values lie, what do you really want to do, how do you want your faith to be part of your work or not, because you're going to have to choose that. But we will do all that when we return. All right, guys, stick around. We will be right back.
I could feel myself falling, like saying, bro, you're falling. Wow, you're falling. This guy, you are actually falling down, oh. This stuff that you see on TV is happening to you. God is real.
Who are you? Why are you black?
Welcome to the heart of the matter.
The whole world was looking for me.
She called me, she's like, oh my God, Ines, it's God that brought you back. And I just dropped to the floor.
I'm going to dive right into the heart of the matter.
What are your thoughts on Canada?
My thoughts on Canada?
Yeah.
Real random.
I'm really so excited today.
Just a tad. Very passionate about leveling the playing field.
Listening is not the only aspect of communication.
I believe that the solution is from the bottom up. If you don't talk now, you talk later.
There's glory. There's glory.
So let's break it down.
Hello and welcome back to Heart of the Matter. I'm Adeolu Adefarasin. We've been having this conversation and look where everyone has been. So, Omotayo, talk about your journey.
I see.
So for you, you came back and you've done different things, actually. You started off, you co-founded a production company, and you did a lot there. Now, what changes have you been since that, and realizing that maybe that wasn't where you were meant to be and what you were meant to be doing?
So my journey started literally like in the beginning of like finishing school. So I studied English. And then I did a master's in writing. But in between, I worked in an art foundation. And then, so you said, I moved back. No,
you moved back because you went to do your master's. Where do your master's? Do your master's here?
But we started here. So I went to Unilag. I studied English. And then I worked in an art foundation. No, actually, I worked in a production company And I worked in an art foundation. And then I went to do a master's in writing because I was like, yeah, we're going to do this writing thing. And in between there, the production company had started and we had these projects we were working on. So I was like going to do my master's and I was like, we're going to come back. I'm going to write my books. And then we have production company going on, so we're going to start writing scripts. So like the money is obviously going to come in because, you know, we're going to figure out this life. Didn't quite work out that way. When I came back, I ended up teaching creative writing for like a year and a little bit. And then I quit and I was like, okay, we're going to do this writing thing. And that became kind of like the toughest period of my life where God was like, okay, I have your attention now. Yeah, you can't do it. And then I couldn't write. Literally, like I stopped teaching and I sat down and I was like, okay, let's write. And I couldn't write anything fictional. And the only thing I could ever write before was fiction. Like I didn't like nonfiction. And all of a sudden I'm trying to write. I literally felt like I was in that place where some people say, oh, God stole your talents for a while. It's like he just borrowed it. Just like, hang on a minute. I literally couldn't write. I'll sit down and be like, and my hands would freeze. And I'm the kind of person who, the moment I want to write, like my final thing when I did my master's, I wrote it 2 days before I submitted and I got an A. It was that kind of thing. Like I had panicked for the whole year. I had my whole calendar. Then it was 2 days before, and I wrote like, so I'm quite confident that like when I'm ready, we will do it. And I couldn't do it. And so I was then freelance advertising. I tried to do all kinds of things. For me, my journey is not near a landing place. Like, with listening to the two of you, seem to have been like, okay, you know, we've done this, and now I'm here where blah, blah,
Always
blah.
feels like that.
I don't feel
Until
that way.
you get to the next place. And you're like, oh, that place I thought I landed.
That was not a landing point. So maybe I'm just...
Even our landing stuff, we're just figuring it out. Like, it's just like you're floating and just like, Jesus, just carry me.
And it's really difficult when you have people around you who are not in the creative space, who their career path has like, boom, and I'm just like, and they're like, oh, Omotayo,
They're not calling to go
what
to
are you doing
vacation.
again? And I'm just like, you know, the producing thing. Oh, you wrote all those movies. I was like, no. Actually, so what does a producer do exactly? And it took me literally years of, every time that question was asked, I felt like my entire life was being questioned. Like, what are you doing in your life? What's the point of this? And then I left the production company because I was trying to hold on to it as the only measure of my life's validation. And God is like, this is not your life. And all those kinds of things have been broken off and stuff. And now, where are we? We're doing whatever we wake up and the Lord is doing. Actually, no, to be fair, I feel like writing is coming back up. I'm working on a writing project. I'm actually writing enough.
Oh, she's writing.
It feels so like, oh my God, I'm writing a novel. And producing, and also kind of presenting, I guess.
Yes.
You're such here.
Technically.
You are here.
So that's kind of my thing. But now switching it back. Thank you very much.
God.
Thank you very much for the 5 minutes.
No, we got this.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about money.
Diipo next year.
How dare you? I wanted to talk about money. I wanted to talk about the money pressures. I mean,
Let's talk about money.
For a babe, yeah, you're not really, like, the standards of society for women is quite, well, on the one hand, it's high because women are very, very high achievers in Nigeria. Like, you can, I always say that you can, if you want to find the most qualified woman, the smartest, the top of our class, you will find them.
Even exported outside the countries.
Yeah.
You find more women, Nigerian women are.
And then, on the other hand, you expect the woman to go to Harvard and come back home and make amala for her husband.
That's it.
So it gives you kind of this dual thing of like in society, among your peers, you feel pressure. But literally, if you're making zero money, nobody's going to put you under pressure. They're just literally waiting for
you to marry so that your husband can speak for your finances.
And just figure that out. And so that's actually something I had to unlearn. But I did not realize how much it was so embedded in me that I had to wake up one day and I was like, no, your husband is not a financial plan.
It's not an ATM.
Marriage is not it's not your pension scheme.
It's not your
You actually
pension
have
scheme.
to figure out how to make money and you have to learn those skills. But as men in the industry, because we know that the men are the ones, well, women feel pressure for finances actually, but we handle this in a completely different way. But men feel pressure as well. And then you're now in the creative industry. What has the journey of navigating money and finances been in the middle of all of this styling today, presenting it?
Look, let me tell you guys, okay? So my viewers out there, my fans, the first thing I know about my life is I will never be broke.
But you have been broke in the past, sir. So let's leave the spiritual side of it.
I just like to declare
Let's be
that. Okay, no, but seriously, yeah. It is a headache. It is a, that's the reality and the honesty of it. But then you can decide how you want to approach it. And I think if there's anything that the continuous deepening of my relationship with God has benefited me, it would be in the area of finances. Right. So I think...
No, explain that actually, because most people don't really... Like, how does your relationship with God help your finances?
So basically, I started to be more intentional and started praying about finances and just saying, God, you know, help my finances. Help. I didn't understand the principle, the spiritual principle behind it, but I just kept saying, Jesus, please help my finances. God, please help my finances. And just show me ways that I can make money. And I felt like I started getting ideas here and there. Right. But over time, my relationship with God, I have evolved to understanding two things that I can offer about finances. Right. There is a school of thought that my Jesus owns everything in the world. Yeah. Cattle on 1,000 hills, right? I have everything. So I don't necessarily have to have millions in my account. But if I say, I want to do this project, Lord, the funds will be released. Right. And that is fantastic. And that is biblical. Yeah. But there's also this school of thought, because I think we have to have a balanced view of God. It's like, you know, when people talk about Jesus as a father, but at the same time a consuming fire, like he's sweet, but he can be, you know, can be wild. So at the same time, I think that doctrine, if it's not understood properly, is robbing children of God of the understanding that God actually wants you to be prosperous and actually have money. He wants you to use it for the kingdom, but he actually wants you to be able to look into your account and just see like zeros.
And not like
with a number before.
With a number before.
Just zeros. Zeros.
Please.
Zeros.
We've been saying that.
With the number. In fact, the more the digits before the zeros, the better. Okay, but he really does.
I want to hang on that, because basically what you're saying is, and because I know a bit of this, obviously, because you've shared some of this with me, was that the more you prayed to God about your finances, the more he gave you ideas and opened doors for you, and actually going down the way that God was leading you has led you into financial opportunities. So it's not just like I prayed and God says, don't worry, it's okay. Like you're praying and God is like,
but let me say financial. Let me just say financial liberation, because really this finance issue, it starts in the mind. I know everything starts in the mind, but it really does start in the mind. Like it's your mindset toward finances and toward money. There's a general mentality that
there's a poverty mentality that needs to be broken up, and sometimes poverty mentality seems even like spiritual, because we've heard a lot of people preach spiritual poverty as a spiritual thing, but it's
but it can be quite.
I think at the end of the day, like you're broke, you can be broke in situation, but you're poor in your mind. So like those two things are separate. And there's understanding that. One thing I think is important to realize is one of the things that happens when you talk about this thing and God providing day by day, and you know that if you speak and ask for something, you got to provide. It might not mean the money in your account. It starts to feed people's. It can feed a negative or lazy mentality if you take things one by one. You have to take the totality of the word. God also blesses sevenfold. Also blesses according to His riches, not according to our needs. It's not just based on you need this and God will give you just that little bit. God blesses according to His riches. If His capacity is to bless according to His riches, and His riches are endless, then you have the capacity to enter into the fullness of that.
I'm sorry.
And so we have to understand the importance of that, and I think we need individual guidance in our relationship with God to understand that as well. Because there are going to be seasons where maybe, okay, like you don't have, but there are also going to be seasons where you can have in abundance. And so you have to be prepared for those. But that comes with, I listened to God and God told me this. God had to teach me. You can read books and people teach you how to save, but God had to talk to me specifically about how He wanted me to save in order for my saving to be successful. Because otherwise you have, there are different schools of thought. You save this man. God used biblical perspective to teach me what percentage He wanted me to save every month. And that started to lead into the way that I thought and how I took things. So you have to, and when it comes to all these relationships, this creative world, stressful as it is, one thing I've learned is that what it lends you to if you're open-minded, you're willing to actually listen to God, is, okay, so acting dropped here, this thing picked up, presenting picked up, producing picked up, other things are picking up. It's about consistently seeing what God is doing in the season. And you've spoken about this before. Is that idea of, this is not, I said I want to be an actor, and if it's not acting, I refuse to do it. That's foolishness.
Yeah.
It is, God is doing this. I can choose to get on the bandwagon. I can choose to sit off it and be in despair and be begging and crying and wondering why things aren't breaking through for me. But if you trust that if I'm in alignment with God, then the provision will come, then I'll keep going with God. It takes like a lot of faith, because there are times where the thing God is telling you to do seems stupid and ridiculous and incapable of bringing finances, and so you're wondering, why am I doing it this way? Like, it doesn't make sense. But that whole idea of you can't serve two masters is so important to understand, and it's to trust the authority of God, that if I serve and I'm being led by money, the day money lets me down, where would I go?
Where will you go? Ooh,
right?
That's nice.
So there's just, it takes a lot of understanding. I think there's some things that honestly you won't be able to explain away tomorrow, because if people are asking to explain things on worldly strategy, sometimes they're not going to be explicable. But then sometimes they will, and it takes a huge amount of trust to say, I know what the vision is, and because I know the vision, even if I'm not, this part of the vision, it doesn't seem to align with what your expectations are financially, or what your expectations are, because we are geared towards this vision. Coco, this vision is going to happen. And because this vision ends and the end picture is not lack, we can trust that the way, whatever we have to go through to get there. And you want to look at people in the world with the examples. You look at Idris Elba, how well he's doing. There was a time he was living in his car, but he knew what he was working towards. And you have to know that I'm working towards this vision.
There's a goal.
Burned in my head. And so then the only issue becomes when the person has no vision. I think the biggest thing to worry is when somebody has zero vision.
I think for some of us in the creative space, actually, a lot of it is that perseverance. A lot of us in the creative space, because the creative space is such a very floaty by nature kind of thing. We don't feel like we have to be grounded in a vision and consistent toward the execution and manifestation of the rewards of that vision.
In everything you're saying, that's really, really important that I want to hammer on. It is your creativity. There's a period, times and seasons, basically times and seasons. There will be a time when you have lack, but in that time of lack, God will provide your need. There will be a time where God will bring you into abundance, where you can save, the excess, and there will be another season. There will be a season where you feel like, oh, I'm just meant to be a writer. And then there'll be a season where it's like, no, this is the season of producing. And there will be seasons in the way your career evolves, but there will also be seasons in the way like your money comes in and all of that stuff. But that if you follow God, He will align the entire path, and so that even if you are going through the valley of the shadow of death, you will come out of it, and then you go into your season of abundance as well. And whether you're a man trying to marry or you're a woman who's living in your father's house, God literally will direct your path, and you don't have to go by anybody else's clock or timeline. Go by the one that God has given. Thank you so much. That's all we have for today's episode. Remember, we are on social media. We are on Instagram at HOTMTV and on Facebook at HOTMTV. And we are on YouTube at HOTM channel. Until next week, see you guys.